Good morning. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210th District Court Criminal Docket for April 25th, 2023. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Marufo, would you call our next case, please?
Middle of page 20, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D00563, State of Texas versus Juan Angel Ramirez. Announcement of counsel, please.
We're looking for the state of Texas. The state is ready. Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
Omar Carmona on behalf of Mr. Ramirez, ready, Your Honor.
Okay, we're set for a final judges conference. Let me get there, guys. This is a big docket. Let me ask, how are we doing on this one?
Good, Your Honor. The only issue we have, Judge, is I thought I'd be able to work out a juvenile murder case, and it doesn't seem like it's going to work out, and it's pretty close to the day of trial on our case, Judge. So I just want to know how you would like me to proceed. My case with the juvenile murder is older, and that's been pending for a while.
So let's look here. He's in custody, and it looks like
My client's not in custody, Judge. He's out on bond.
Ay, perdón, I picked the wrong person. I picked Jose Perez. Hold on a second. Is this the uncle fight with the car and all of that? No, where they go to the house? Give me one second.
It's an incident at a house, Judge, coming from a party.
Right. Sorry, I'm having a little trouble finding it. Give me one second. There it is. It's kind of lumped in with the final hearing plea deadlines. So there we go. No, yeah, I remember this one. Okay, yeah, he's not in custody. Well, let me ask, Ms. King, or have you all been negotiating, or is this going to be, is there a chance that it's going to be worked out, or are we looking at a trial?
I have no idea, Judge. We've been waiting actually for something from opposing counsel. We haven't received anything. So.
We are, Your Honor, we have still gone over some, we have a few more meetings with our client. We've been meeting with our client in Ms. Butterworth's office.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to getting the state a number, we probably are just a meeting or two away from preparing something for the state to think about. I don't know if it's going to work out. I would imagine it won't work out, but we are going to try.
Okay. The reason I ask, I'm just starting, I did access the case now on Odyssey, is that I'm seeing that we had a final hearing plea deadline in March. I'm assuming you all had a trial setting at that time as well, and we went past it. Is that right? Yes,
Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay. So a couple of things, Mr. Carmona, just because, as we all, let's see, when is it set for? June 2nd? That's the week before Valles. I would say this, Mr. Carmona, if you want to file a motion for continuance, feel free to do that. I would like to confer with you all, though, at the final hearing plea deadline about getting this case specially set in light of any kind of movement that there might be or not, but I don't want to set it again without being able to say, we know this is going to be our date, even if it's further down the road. But since we've already gone past one setting, I don't want to put it too far down the road.
Yes, Your Honor.
So,
I understand.
Yeah, let's go from there. Yes, Ms. King.
Would it be possible to just have a quick status or so over Zoom in like 2 weeks?
Of course. I will set you for another hearing in 2 weeks.
I feel like in a month is a little too far.
Let's do, can we do May 11th?
That works for me.
That's fine.
May 11th at 10 a.m. We'll just reset the final judges conference, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Who's next?
And Judge, I don't know if you're going to go in an order, but I was also covering for Miss Butterworth today because she's out sick.
Okay,
May I be
Page 13,
excused?
Judge.
thank you, Ms. King. I'm sorry, what page?
Bottom of page 13, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
In cause number 2022-0D03129, State of Texas versus Mary Denise Valvanera. Announcement of counsel, please.
Robert Bond for the state, ready to proceed.
Omar Carmona covering for Denise Butterworth on behalf of Ms. Balvanera. We're ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Marufo, did Ms. Balvanera check in?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, go ahead. What's the rec, Ms. Elizalde? Or I'm sorry, Mr. Bond.
Yes, our initial recommendation, I think, was a probation 7 for 10. The problem with Ms. Balvanera is she has a whole lot of other cases going. We just indicted 2 other ones last week, and she has a pending drug case, and we were waiting for the results to come back. They actually came back on Saturday, apparently. And the lab confirmed for that case just short of 2 grams of meth in her possession, or allegedly in her possession.
Mr. Bond, do you have cause numbers on those cases?
Oh, Lordy. They're all in screening. They're all in the intake right now. I mean, we just got the labs back. I don't have the cause numbers yet for the ones that I indicted last week. I checked on that yesterday, and they haven't been assigned cause numbers just yet.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jasmine. Some P files. Mr. Carmona, the final hearing plea deadline, but it's
Judges, that's what I had from Ms. Butterworth. She said that they are working on a package deal, but that would include all the cases that are in screening as well. But it sounds to me like it was gonna resolve all of them.
okay. So we'll go ahead and reset Myrna for the next, she's not in custody, so for the next regular trial track, what's our trial date right now? Where are we setting them?
Trial date, I think
It's September, Judge.
28th.
September 15th.
September, yeah.
We have time there.
I think I would go, let me see. Well, maybe that does conform with about 6 months out. Yeah, let's go with the next, whatever the scheduled trial date is. What is it? September what?
It would be the 15th, Judge.
Okay. We'll reset there with the notation that we should have new cases by that time. If they've already been indicted, Mr. Carmona, then it should fall within the same trial track. And then we'll see where we are. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you
May I
very
be
much.
excused?
You may.
Thank
Who's
you.
next? Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Bond.
Judge.
Page 15, Judge.
Mhm.
In cause number 2022-0D0-0305 and 2022-0D0-0029, State of Texas versus Gabriel Ivan Caballero. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Dan Ivy for Gabriel Caballero, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Caballero is still in custody. We reset this from December. I don't remember if this is the second or third trial setting on both of these cases. What's going on?
We have a deal, Judge, for 7 CDC, and we'd like to send him for a plea as soon as possible.
Okay, we'll have you come back on Thursday. Mr. Marufo, go ahead and request Mr. Caballero for Thursday at 11 a.m. in person. All righty, we'll see you then. It'll be a continuation of the final hearing plea deadline. Thank you all for working on this.
Thanks.
Okay, who's next?
Page 17, Judge.
Mhm.
In cause number 2021-0D0-0306 and 2020-0D0-4353 and 2021-0D0-0628 and 2022-0D0-3367, State of Texas versus Arturo Castañón. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Mr. Veith, are you there? Mr. Veith? All right, we can go to the next case.
Yes, Judge. A second on page 18, Judge.
Mhm.
In cause number 2022-0D0-0799, State of Texas versus Carlos Gallegos. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Judge Daniel Mena for the defendant. We're both present here and we're both ready.
Okay, final hearing plea deadline, Ms. Elizalde, what's the rec?
The rec, Your Honor, is 10 deferred.
Mr. Mena?
Judge, my client wants a trial.
Okay, let's go ahead and send them the jury sheets. I'll tell you on this one, Mr. Mena, we have it because of some other cases that are on the docket. I have it set up for jury selection, I believe in Commissioner's Court, if I don't have that mistaken, beginning on Thursday. Is that right, Mr. Marufo, with Commissioner's Court both days?
Correct, Judge.
So my question to you is, on this case, do you need 2 Commissioners Court panels, or are you good to just start on Friday?
I'm good to Friday, Judge.
Yeah, I gotta think that that's gonna be good enough. I just want to check with you. But some of these other cases, I have backup panels just in case, so we don't run them. But for Mr. Gallegos, Mr. Marufo, let's just send him the Friday sheets. Because we may end up canceling that Thursday panel.
Yes, Judge.
Judge, what number am I on this docket? Because I've got a huge docket that morning. That I'll have to, I've got like 11 other settings that I'll have to reset.
So we're kind of in the same boat, Mr. Mena. What I'll tell you is, since you're kind of first up in the queue of cases, I'll have a better idea this afternoon. Okay, so we'll let you all know as best as we can.
Very good, Judge. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Of course.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. Who's next?
Bye-bye.
Back to page 17 with Mr. Vieth, Judge.
Okay.
Step away for a second there.
In cause number 2021-0D0-0306 and 2020-0D0-4353 and 2021-0D0-0628 and 2022-0D0-3367, State of Texas versus Arturo Castañón. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Good morning, Joseph Heath for the defense. We are ready to proceed.
And I do know, I can see that Arturo Castañón is logged on, so appearing remotely as well. Let's just talk about the 3367 for now. I'm pulling up his probation summary. Where were we with Mr. Castañón? Ms. Elizalde, did we have a rec?
Yes, Judge, the rec was 3 TDC and 12 months on the state jail felony. We were discussing this case about, whether we had the victim, whether we were going to get probation. I was at a revocation for TDC, and I believe you had stated, if memory serves me right, that you believe TDC was the way to go. That's my recollection.
Right.
Your Honor, I was arguing on the other side of the possibility of continuing him on probation. He's been, very different since he's been released, and I've been on this case. I've noticed a lot of improvements. One of the issues we had is he didn't have his ID, so he couldn't take drug tests since he's been released. I had him go take 3 at a private location because he didn't have an identification. He gets his ID tomorrow during a meeting with DPS and the DMV. He had to schedule something because he doesn't have the right paperwork to get an ID, but he was able to use, I believe, his TDCJ ID to get his blood work done recently. And I provided 3 drug tests to the state, so they have record that he tested clean. He's been staying out of trouble. He's very different. I think he could do very well on probation if he were given a chance to stay on, maybe in a more intense, under a more intense type of supervision. He's been out for a while now, and he's been responsive to me. He's been doing everything with me that he's supposed to. He took drug tests when I told him to go take them. He's getting his ID tomorrow, so he can do everything drug testing wise with probation after he receives that ID. And I think he's been compliant as far as staying in touch with the probation department, Your Honor, and complying with all terms of his release.
Let me hear about, Ms. Elizalde, this Agasol deadly weapon, unlawful possession of a firearm. Let me hear about that case. I mean, that case, you're wrecking 3 TDC on both. I just kind of want to get a feel for what the new case. I mean, yes. Are you ready to go on Friday if they're not?
Judge, and Mr. Vieth asked me earlier, I would have to update the court because we did receive new information for her, and we did try to contact. There may have been a canine issue, and so I would have to update the court and send my investigators back out.
What do you mean? Okay. And as far as the new case, Your Honor, we're contesting this ever happened. My client's mom was on the phone when she got in the car. He previously was stabbed in the neck by this woman. She wanted her clothes back, and there was never any firearm found on him that day. It's just, I believe, a made up story. There's never been a firearm found. There's no
Are
evidence.
you ready, Mr. B, by that case?
Your Honor, I've been working with the state to see if they have the complaining witness or not.
Mhm.
And that would influence kind of where we are as far as announcing ready. I mean, we could, if they have her, I'd want to know that in advance before, because I prepare for trial differently. I've been asking for some time now if the state has her. We haven't been able to locate her. I've sent my investigator out to locate her. I don't think anybody's been able to reach her.
We think we've located her. We're just having trouble talking to her. And we discussed with, the better locates Mr. Veith. And once I find her,
Well, that's my question. Are you ready to go on Friday? This is our first setting on the new case. I understand what the probation cases are, and I understand what you're telling me. I saw the probation
Sure.
report, but
at
the
this
new
time,
case,
I wouldn't be ready, Your Honor. I don't know if the state would even be ready at this point since they haven't met with her, but defense would ask for a pass just so I have more awareness of what's happening with the case and what the likelihood is of this person testifying or what her account of the incident is. We haven't been able to get that. So I don't think the defense would be ready this Friday, Your Honor.
and
And
as
the
for
state-
the state judge, I don't think we'd be ready this Friday. I'd like to follow up on the new information we received.
okay.
The court will-
So I hearing what you're telling me, I would consider this a joint motion for continuance of the trial setting. Mr. Castañon is not in custody. So let's go to that September. Myrna, we're still good with the September trial date? Please file a joint motion for continuance. I don't care whoever signs off, files it, but just have it filed so we can get him reset. Look, honestly, I think I want a better, rather than just, I think I know where I was with Mr. Castañon on his probation cases, but that doesn't take away, his right to contest and look at this case. And it doesn't sound that we were as focused on that as we were kind of lumping everything together and saying, let's send him to DC. I'm not saying that's not still the case on the probation cases, Mr. Veith, but I'm not hearing anything that is kind of satisfying regarding the new case. So it being the first trial setting, I'll go ahead and accept a joint motion for continuance and get him reset. We will have interim settings leading up to that September date. I'm sorry, Ms. Elizalde, were you going to say something?
No, Judge.
Okay. All right. See
Your
what you
Honor.
on that one, and we'll get you new settings.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. And Your Honor, we had one more case that was set for a final today on Julio Martin Del Campo. We're still waiting for police reports. The state and the defense have been requested. There's still a lot of outstanding discovery that we've been both trying to obtain. I was hoping that the court would entertain a motion for continuance on that case too.
Where are we talking about, Mr. Marufo? What's this?
I believe that was an earlier judges conference, Judge,
I know.
on page 11, Judge.
Julio Martin Del Campo? Mm-hmm.
Yes, Your Honor. We're set for a final hearing pre-deadline on May 30th. So I guess on May 30th, we can see where we're at.
That sounds good. See you.
Yeah, simplify it. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Castañon, I'm going to go ahead and remove you. Who's next?
Towards the bottom of page 18, Judge,
Mhm.
in cause number 2022-0D03080, State of Texas versus Griselda Gobertu. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Brian Kennedy for the defense. Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay, and I believe I asked yesterday, Mr. Marufo, she did check in, correct? Oh, there she is. She's appearing remotely as well. Is that Griselda?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to go ahead and mute you for now. Final hearing, plea deadline, Ms. Elizalde, what is the rec?
The rec is 2 TDC, and I have received a new character packet to consider, Judge.
Is this our first trial setting?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm assuming, are you going to have it worked out? Are you going to review the character packet before Thursday and have a new offer, Ms. Elizalde? Just asking. If not, then somebody needs to file a motion for continuance.
Judge, I was going to say, if I might, that I had a trial I thought was not going to go. There was a previous trial in the 409th that will be going next week.
Mhm.
Also, Ms. Gilberto just had a child April 6th, and so communication has been slightly difficult.
Okay, I'm seeing from the clerk that there has been a motion filed that's a defense motion for continuance. Without actually seeing the motion, what's the state's position?
I have seen the motion, it did get forwarded to me, and I'm unopposed, and I'll be reviewing that and see if I'm coming down from the TDC rec.
Okay, in that case, the motion, defense motion for continuance is granted. We will get you new trial settings, Mr. Kennedy. That's all we'll do right now, get you new settings.
Thank you, Your Honor. I really appreciate your patience with me.
Of course, good luck.
Thank you. May I be excused?
You may. Thank you. Let me go ahead and remove client. Who's next?
Staying on page 18, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D02013, State of Texas versus Michael Gutierrez. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde, covering for VPU. State is ready.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jesus Olias on behalf of Mr. Gutierrez. We're ready as well.
Final hearing plea deadline, Ms. Elizalde.
Your Honor, it is my understanding after talking to Mr. Munson that a resolution has been reached and the defendant will be pleading.
Is this individual in custody? Nope.
No, ma'am.
Did they check in, Mr. Marufo, Mr. Gutierrez?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Olivas.
Ms. Elizalde is correct, Judge. I've been talking to Mr. Preston and we've reached an agreement for a plea agreement. I'm just waiting for the plea papers.
Okay, well, go ahead and reset this final hearing plea deadline for 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll have paperwork then, and then we may have to just get you a new plea setting because it's court's calendar is really crazy coming up the next few weeks. We'll reset for 2 weeks.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
You may.
Thanks.
Who's next?
On page 19, Judge. In cause number 2021-0D00237 and 2019-0D02396 and 2020-0D01314, State of Texas versus Marcus Hall. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
John Williams for Marcus Hall. Ready, Your Honor. I
received the plea papers to have hard copy plea papers this morning. What I want to know is I do not see him set for 3 o'clock this afternoon. Myrna, was he? I thought that's what you told me when you handed me the plea papers.
No, Judge, it was for the final this morning, but we got the plea papers also this morning.
Okay, so let me ask Mr. Williams, if we were able to get your client in on our jail docket this afternoon, would you be able to handle the plea this afternoon, or is that tight?
No, absolutely, Judge.
Absolutely, yes, you can, or absolutely?
Absolutely, yes, I can, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see if we can do it. If we can, we'll let you know and see if we can get Mr. Hull for this afternoon, okay?
Beautiful, thank you, Judge.
That though, yes, you did include the waiver, so we can do the virtual plea. Perfect. If we can do it, great. If not, I'll push it back 1 week, Mr. Williams.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Marufo and Ms. Elizalde. Mr. Marufo is like the de-escalation king.
He's got some experience, you know.
He's got some mad skills.
Thank you.
Staying with Mr. Williams on page 20, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D03109, State of Texas versus Nelson Martinez. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
John Williams for Nelson Martinez, who's here with me outside your courtroom, Judge. We've reached a plea agreement with Ms. Elizalde, and the papers are signed, and Ms. Myrna has them.
Okay, let me ask you this. Are you all able to handle can we do the plea today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll be right with you, okay?
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Who's next?
Top of page 19, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D03664, State of Texas versus Samuel Hernandez. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Who's here for?
Mr. Avelar, are you here, Mr. Avelar?
Oh, there he is. Mr. Avelar, are you there? All right, we'll come right back to him. Who's next?
Staying on page 19, Judge. In cause number 2020-0D04124 and 2022-0D03222, State of Texas versus Daniel Lopez. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Alex Shawala for Mr. Lopez. We're ready.
Okay, final hearing plea deadline and probation status, Ms. Elizalde.
Your Honor, I am at TDC rec, but since the last hearing, he has been indicted recently on 2 new cases. Your Honor, because of the new cases, I did reach out to Mr. Shawala. And we both believe that due to the new indictment, we would benefit from additional time to review it and come to a package deal. Mr. Shawala, would you disagree with my assessment?
No, I think that's right. And Judge, this is, I mean, he's on probation. We're going to work this out. So it's not going to be a trial.
Let's, I'm just pulling, I just saw the new cause numbers are 2023 0D01753 and 1754. He set for arraignment May 2nd. Myrna, his 2020 probation case and the 2022 case will be reset to track the new cases, which are set for jury trial in October. Thank you very much for your time. We'll get you your new settings, okay?
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
You may go to work.
Thanks.
Who's next?
On page 13, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D02980, State of Texas versus Jose Adan Aleman. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Carlos Roberts for the defense. We're ready, Your Honor.
Okay, and this one is final hearing plea deadline. What's the rec?
Your Honor, the recommendation at this point, I just spoke to the victims. We are trying to get something approved, but I don't have a rec right now. I know that opposing counsel just got on the case, filed a motion to continue, and we are moving forward on trying to resolve this. Mr. Roberts, am I speaking out of turn here?
No, Your Honor. That's exactly where we are, Your Honor. I filed a motion for continuance. We substituted for previous counsel who was on the case for like 5 or 6 months, and we're going to try to resolve it as soon.
What I would like to do is, I did have that notation here, Mr. Roberts, as well as the defense motion for continuance. This is a first setting, so I'm assuming that's unopposed and you all are working on it, so I'm going to grant that. However, I would like to specially set this at a reasonable time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the final hearing plea deadline for 2 weeks. No trial, just the final hearing plea deadline to see if Ms. Elizalde has an update on whatever negotiations you all are doing. And then from there, on that date, then we'll decide a timetable if we need to set a trial. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
That's fine.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Who's next?
Page 14, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D03040, State of Texas versus Mario Ben. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Ben, we are ready.
Okay, is that your client that's kind of flashing in and out?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. We're set for final hearing plea deadline. Before we get into too much, I just want to know if there's a rec.
There is, sorry, Judge, I don't know why I didn't notate it. It's loading. I'm so sorry.
And so, Judge, Ms. Elizalde and I have been communicating about this case quite a bit. There's a lot of red tape, and we're still. I was thinking there was a chance we were going to resolve the case. I had basically told Ms. Elizalde that I was going to be filing a continuance, and that was a long time ago. And Judge, the reason being is I'm gonna give this case to our complex litigation unit. There's some DNA issues, some expert issues. But and we still might be able to resolve the case, Judge. So I wanted to stay on and kind of play that out first. But this is the first trial setting, and we will be filing a continuance, Judge.
Okay.
And prefer, and hopefully, Your Honor, the court would consider giving us enough time to get this case together. Because we're gonna need some time on this one.
And Judge, to your question, the rec has been for some time 35 TDC. There have been some ongoing negotiations on this case, nothing firm, extremely hesitant at this point to accept their counter. But yes, Mr. Huffman did advise me that he was gonna ask for a continuance.
Okay. So follow your motion, Mr. Huffman.
Yes, ma'am.
This is not one that then we will reset on that regular trial track. I did see, I think, let me go back. I was just checking the bond order. The bond order has the appropriate conditions on it, so that's good. Let me go. Well, no, it was indicted in August. So let's go ahead and set them for about February 2024, Myrna. So let's go with, I guess, just a week where we don't have I know there's been a few civil cases that we've set over there with the idea that those are going. I think those are the only ones we've gone. This will be probably one of our first criminal cases. But let's just go ahead and set it for February of next year. Mr. Huffman, if it's that complex, it's going to give your office an opportunity to go through things. And then we'll get you a slate of settings leading up to that date. Okay.
Appreciate you.
All righty. Anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you. Well, maybe not you, but your client is excused. I'm going to remove him. All right. Who's next?
Top of page 18, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D02929, State of Texas versus Victoriano Enriquez Esquivel. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Esquivel. Your Honor, we haven't had contact with her.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Going back to your other client, we do not have a waiver of arraignment on Mr. Mario Ben. Is that correct, Mr. Marufo?
Correct, Judge.
Okay. So feel free to let the attorneys know as well, because I missed that. You need to go ahead and get us a waiver of arraignment, Mr. Huffman. All right. Mr. Esquivel, this is I show a warrant on this gentleman since 9/9/2022. Any contact?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll wait for Friday's trial date. And then I guess, Myrna, do we just inactivate these? Is this a first setting? Let me ask that. Is this a first trial setting? Okay, so we will reset this one for September, and then I'll give them one more shot, and after that, then just the final hearing, plea deadline, and trial setting. Okay. After that, then we just wait to find him, because it's our warrant, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, who's next?
Top of page 20, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D03106, State of Texas versus Randy Malone. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Malone. Your Honor, same thing. Our office has not been able to contact Mr. Malone. There is an outstanding warrant for his arrest out of this court.
And it's out of the 210th. Okay, yeah, I see it here. Is this also our first trial setting?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, this will be the same thing. We'll reset for September, and after that, we don't have them inactivate. All right, who's next?
Middle of page 20, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D02952, State of Texas versus Jose Perez. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state is ready.
Rick Huffman, on behalf of Mr. Perez, we are ready, Your Honor, and my client is in custody.
Okay. Let me see, what's the rec on Mr. Perez?
2 TDC, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what was that?
2 TDC.
Okay, is this a truther?
No, Your Honor, it's a 4.
All right, Mr. Huffman?
Judge, this is a true, this is a true fourth, I should say. There are no other criminal history. The last DWI was in 2000. And, well, we were hoping that maybe we can get, well, this is what we were thinking, Judge. Doing an open plea, basically. It's been 22 years since his last DWI. And I'll be honest, Judge, the breath test was high. There was no accident. We're just not disputing culpability here, but we are, he's been in custody for a long time. We were hoping the court might consider some kind of probation with rehab or drug court.
Has he ever received, what kind of treatment did he get on the prior third? He's driving with a suspended license.
He did the 7 years probation back in 2000, Judge, and he had no issues on probation.
But was it just standard, or did he go through some type of treatment, intensive treatment or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. But he did. I believe he had the alcohol monitor back then. I want to say I don't know if they had him back then, but for some reason that's what sticks out to me. It's kind of a weird situation, because if he did the 2 years TDC, Judge, he'd probably parole out in a couple months. He'd be out probably faster than, say, a Liviane or a BHRTC type deal.
So let me ask about him. I'm looking, he's in custody, but he had a PR violation, which is why he failed to maintain his lifesaver monitor and was on lockout. They tried to bring him back into compliance over the course, but he was not returning calls.
And Judge,
all that, even when he didn't get his monitor, I recalled it and then didn't report after that. No, TDC sounds pretty good.
Can we bring him in on Thursday, Judge?
We can. Okay.
Just to answer your question, Judge, I was able to, I can't really see a lot, but I am seeing that he was ordered to do RSAT treatment program on his last one.
All right.
I apologize for that, Judge. I admit.
All right. No worries. Okay, we can bring him on Thursday. Get the paperwork going. Thank you. Who's next?
Bottom of page 20, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
In cause number 2022-0D02488, State of Texas versus Joseph Michael Valtier. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state is ready.
Rick Huffman, on behalf of Mr. Valtier, we are ready.
Okay, final hearing plea deadline. Bear with me because I cannot find him here. Go ahead. What's the rec?
Judge, the current rec is AFE credit for time served. I have been discussing with victim, and this is one where I'll have a for sure answer for today because they have countered with dismissal for bid. That's kind of where we're at, Judge.
Is this our first setting?
Is it?
No, I see a final hearing plea deadline in March, and this is our next. So it looks like it got reset. Maybe this is what Judge Speasney was covering. Maybe, and we had just a 30-day reset.
Yeah, that sounds about right, Judge. I think we had something like that.
So let me look at the thing.
Maybe we were in that other trial or something happened.
Let me look at something. So you're saying the rec now is a misdemeanor credit for time served, but they're wanting a dismissal for bid.
Yes, Judge, and Mr. Huffman, I spoke to him yesterday and he provided me some information as to why I'm strongly considering that.
Mm-hmm.
So I am set for a call with CW this afternoon, and I can email and give a status on that.
So is somebody asking for a continuance?
I Judge, I'm not asking for a continuance. If we can't resolve it, then we would be ready to move forward.
Us too, Judge.
Well, I guess my question is this, I mean, if it's gonna be a bid for dismissal, if that's where we're headed, then he's gonna need time. How soon will you know? You said you know today, Ms. Elizalde?
Yes, Your Honor, and I could email the court and opposing counsel, send an email with an update.
Okay. So we'll follow up this afternoon then. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, who's next?
Top of page 21, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D0-3084 and 2022-0D0-3085. Announcement of council, please.
I'm sorry, what's the style of the case and what page are we on again?
Top of page 21, Judge.
And what's the case? State of Texas versus who?
State of Texas versus Joshua Werner, Judge.
Okay,
Apologize.
go ahead.
Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Rick Huffman, on behalf of Mr. Warner, we are ready.
Final hearing plea deadlines. Your client's been in custody over 260 days. What's the rec?
Your Honor, the recommendation is 2 TDC on a lesser included. I will be sending plea paperwork.
And is that as to which case? The ag robbery?
That's correct. And then it'll be 6 months on the state jail felony.
Okay. Mr. Huffman,
That's correct, Your Honor. We are in agreement.
is this a Thursday? Bring him over?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Reset the final hearing plea deadline for Thursday. We'll have to request Mr. Warner. Thank you. Who's next?
Back on page 18, Judge.
Mhm.
Mr. Avelar, are you there?
I am, yes.
In cause number 2022-0D0-0888, State of Texas versus Luis Fernando Gonzalez. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
Excuse me, Judge. Daniel Avalar for Luis Gonzalez.
Final hearing plea deadline, Ms. Elizalde. Is this our DWI court person?
And Judge, for sure, this is the same one that's been stuck for a while. I followed up with the DWI court, Your Honor. He has what's called, and this is beyond me, he has what's called a final therapy assessment, and that's set for next Thursday. I know the court's been very patient with us, but that's where we're at, Your Honor.
April 25th. Okay, so we're going to set this for May 11th at 11 a.m. Final hearing plea deadline.
11 a.m.
And the trial setting will be May 12th.
May 12th.
Okay.
May 12th, this trial, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Who's next?
Yes, ma'am.
Why are you making that face, Miss Elizalde? What is there something happening?
No.
Am I missing something?
No. I don't even know what face I was making, Judge.
Okay. Go to the next case.
Top of page 19, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D0-3064, State of Texas versus Samuel Hernandez. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
And Daniel Avalar for Samuel Hernandez.
And just for purposes of the record, Mr. Hernandez is appearing remotely as well. Final hearing plea deadline. What's the rec?
Your Honor, we have to get this rec approved by you. I have been asked to give DWI court for a misdemeanor. This one again came back labs within the margin of error. And so the state is considering.
So did we already get him approved to go into DWI court?
When I talked to, I believe it was Mr. Wyatt, I let him know that had to be done first. I am unsure what the status is of that.
And I see in my notes, Your Honor, that it's not been done, Judge, unfortunately.
Look, I hate getting held up on these things. Can we just execute the plea paperwork with a referral to DWI court for evaluation and if accepted, participated? If not, then he will be screened through probation for any other services.
I'm good with that. What about you, Ms. Elizalde? Get her face.
It's a DWI with a child, right?
It's
So-
with a child, yeah, and it's, again, she said the margin of error, I think it's his, I don't even think he has prior DWIs.
But I will do it, but Mr. Avalar, I'm just going to say, I don't know how you guys always pick the test within margin of error. That must be very lucky. But what I will say is, if I'm adding DWI court, I really can't just keep putting on their referral. Our office has a new policy that he must be accepted before a plea agreement is executed. So
well, let me ask, what are his priors? He does have a prior DWI in 2008 and he has one in 2007.
Okay, I didn't know that, Your Honor. I apologize. I didn't mean to make that
I mean,
reference.
I'm not saying they're convictions,
Yes, ma'am.
right? I'm just saying, when I go to the jailings, he was arrested in 2007 and he was arrested in 2008, separate.
I see it right here, Your Honor. Prior DWI 15 years ago when he was 20 years old.
So let me ask, what happened to those two priors from 2007 and 2008?
So one of them got dismissed and one of them, I show as a conviction. So.
This is a second. This is a second. Look, in terms of, Ms. Elizalde, what you're saying is that you're okay going down to a misdemeanor because of the circumstances of this case, right?
That's correct, Judge, yes.
And your offer is the DWI court?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, so you're gonna ask for a continuance, Mr. Avalar, to get him screened and accepted?
I am, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
File your motion today. We'll get you a reset for September. You know, DA's policy is the DA's policy. If they are not going to be offering unless those individuals are accepted, then you guys are on notice and your case is delayed, and anything, you know, that could be beneficial to your client is being delayed. It is also leaving clients on bond, gives them time to mess up. So I'm sure you don't want that. Get on the screening and we'll get you reset for the trial. Mr. Hernandez, I'll refer you to your attorney for any questions you have on that, but your trial is being reset. All right. Sorry, Ms. Elizalde, I didn't know that was a DA policy.
It's new, Judge.
Okay, all righty. Who's next?
Towards the bottom of page 20, Judge. In cause number 2022-0D02977, State of Texas versus Richard Slater. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for the state. State is ready.
And Daniel Avalar for Mr. Slater.
All right, did Mr. Slater check in, or is he here?
I
Yes,
hope
Judge.
okay.
I'm sorry?
Yes, he did check in, Judge.
Okay, final hearing plea deadline, Ms. Elizalde.
Your Honor, the recommendation is assault bodily injury misdemeanor, 180 days.
And we shall accept, Your Honor.
You shall accept. He's not in custody. Does he have all that time in, or what's going
Yeah,
on?
I think he has the time.
Let me see.
Well, it's the intent is a time served, right? Am I correct, Ms. Elizalde?
That was not my intent. It's 180.
I countered with as long as it's time served, but
How
I
much
think he has the
time does he have? If you could tell us, Judge, so I can see how I.
So I'm seeing, just looking quickly at a booking, there's 80 days, but I will defer to, where is she, Miss Welch? I'm seeing 80 days as well. Okay, I haven't scrolled down. Yeah, no. Injury, what do we have here? Injury to a child,
Elderly, Judge, not child.
80 elderly, 80 days. That's what he has.
Does that sound right? I thought he was in custody since September. And then
Offense on this incident.
it is July 16th of 2022.
So there's one for which he was booked in September, a different injury to whatever, child, elderly or disabled in 2021. So that's a different case. Was that case dismissed?
Oh, I do see it, Your Honor. You're right.
Mm-hmm. And that predates the date of offense. So yeah, it looks like it was dismissed. Maybe we get the new one. Yeah, we get the new one. On the booking that starts July 17th, he's got a new injury. And then the PR Revo, it says case dismissed on that one. So maybe that was the old one.
Okay.
So he has 80 days.
So I'll be on. So when I countered Miss Elizalde, we had this conversation. I think we're on the phone. I don't think it was don't think we had a hearing or anything, but I had countered with a time served. Reason being, he's elderly as well. He was in custody for some time, and there's a non-prosecution affidavit.
I'll send plea paperwork today. Judge, can we set it for Thursday?
Mr. Avelar?
That's tight, but I'll do my best to get it done, only because I know they're both up there, Your Honor, if you know what I mean.
So let's go to May 4th.
Yeah.
What I'm understanding that to mean, Ms. Elizalde, is that you're gonna tweak that time rec for it to be a time serve rec. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
I apologize.
So let's go to May 4th at 11 a.m. for an in-person plea.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, that'll be
Yeah.
the same.
And if I can get that paperwork out, ahead of time, I can handle it.
Sure.
You give them some time.
All
I
right.
appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you. Who's
Thank you all.
next?
Bottom of page 17, Judge.
Mhm.
In cause number 2022 0D00735 and 2021 0D02285, State of Texas versus Eduardo Davila. Announcement of council, please.
Eliana Elizalde for state is ready.
Valdez, Deputy Public Defender with the ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Oh, dear.
Not working. Are you here? Are you outside, Mr. Hernandez?
I'm in in front of the 168th, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're announcing on Mr. Davila?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're scheduled for a motion for continuance.
Yes, Your Honor.
Client is in custody. Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Can you hear me?
It's breaking up, but it's okay right now.
So, Your Honor, my expert who was from out of state, apparently I learned 2 weeks ago, allowed his Texas practice license to expire and has no intention of doing it. So we had to find a new expert. I have found a new expert. I also included an ex parte motion to transport my client to our office tomorrow so that he can be evaluated by our new expert, Your Honor, who's here in the state of Texas, so that we don't have any licensing issues.
And you're asking for a continuance of the trial setting, is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor, because we need time for we've sent the expert, got him the medical records. He needs to evaluate the client. I imagine it may take 1 or 2 months, depending on what the expert needs. And then we'd be ready after that, Your Honor. I apologize, Your Honor. Unfortunately, it's like sandbagged me in a way that never happened before.
Okay, so we're going to cancel the motion for continuance. State's position, any? Okay, so unopposed motion for continuance will be granted. The May 9th and the May 12th settings are canceled. I'm going to set you for June 1st for a final judges conference to be heard before me, but we can do it via Zoom. If you are requesting that be in person for any reason to have your client present, please let us know that so we can schedule it accordingly. It is at that conference that then we will see if we have an update so we can get you set for trial. I do not want to delay setting him again, but I know, with this hiccup, you may need a little bit of time to get a better idea of scheduling, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. And there is a possibility this case will settle. The state had asked for proof of what we were suggesting is the client's condition, and we've been acquiring that. So we'll have a discussion with the state ahead of time.
Sounds good. We'll see you at the final judges conference.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you,
Your
Mr.
Honor. Mike Hughes.
You are. Who's next?
Judge, bottom of page 21.
Mhm.
Mr. Ray Velarde is in a federal court.
I granted the motion for continuance. I copied you and Myrna on it this morning.